Good afternoon. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat. For those seeking business license assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center here at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business license can be applied for or renewed online at chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. To learn more about this program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/Chicago BACP. We would like to encourage all attendees to ask questions, so please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. At this time, I will now turn this webinar over to BACP Commissioner, Mr. Ken Meyer.
Thank you, Stella. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BACP Empower Hour. I'm Ken Meyer, the Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Our goal is to help businesses and consumers get the information they need to succeed by sharing advice and stories for Chicago's entrepreneurs. With us today is the one and only Christy Webber, founder and president of Christy Webber Landscapes. Christy Webber Landscapes is an award-winning full-service landscape provider offering design, construction, and maintenance programs. Established over 30 years ago, I can't believe that, 30 years ago, the company has served some of Chicago's most prominent and iconic landmarks, including Soldier Field, Millennium Park, and Navy Pier. Good afternoon, Christy, and thank you for joining us. And you are muted, my friend. Christy, you're muted.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
So does that mean that we've known each other 30 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
could very well be. I've been with the government
Yeah.
29 years. Yeah.
Wow.
We won't tell anyone, although everyone's listening and hearing it.
I was remembering the convention is when I first realized that, I kind of missed that boat. I was still cutting your yard, like people's yards, and all this happening on the west side when the Clintons came into town in 1996.
Yeah.
After that, I became certified as a land, WBE. And I mean, it just went, crazy after that. I picked up the United Center as a contract, and it was, so I think it's awesome that we're getting the convention.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's the year I'm to retire.
No. So tell us a little bit more about kind of your early onset, how you got into landscaping. What made you even go down this path over 30 years ago?
Well, I went to college and to play basketball and became a gym teacher. So yeah, all your gym teachers were probably, I'm a gym teacher. And I just wanted to do something outside. When I moved back to Chicago, closer, I'm from Michigan. I'm an outdoors kid. And, we did a lot of hunting and fishing and riding motorcycles and taking care of the yard. And it just seemed like a natural fit for me to just be outside, but be in the city. Because I am gay, I want, you want to be around those you're like. So I wanted to live in the city, but I wanted to act like a country kid. So, and that's mowing the grass. So that's pretty much how it started. Just truck and mowing and inviting friends to help me. And, then picking up, the United Center was a really, really, for me, the Bulls were still playing well. It was still, Michael Jordan was still playing. So it was really a catch, to have that account. And after that, I picked up, I think, I bid on a city contract and I won it. And it was 25% lower than the next landscaper. And I remember the guy from the city called and said, "Do you want to just let this go? That's a lot of money you left on the table." And I said, "You know what? If I even have to pick up cigarette butts myself, I'm going to do this contract." So that was there for, the medians, how the medians you maintain. You know how we block traffic on the medians? That's the median.
Right. That's a really great story. And I mean, I like early on, you knew a desk in a cube, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday was not going to be for you. And so that's so awesome that you're like, I need to be outside, kind of the farm girl, farm woman in the city of Chicago. But the other thing, Christy, is I think everyone that knows you and certainly knows your company and your corporate culture is that you're very, very passionate about landscaping, giving back to the community, inviting others to come in to learn about landscaping. Tell our audience a little bit more about that, if you would, please.
Well, I had my struggles, the 80s. So, things change with generations. So
Yeah.
came to Chicago and just people gave me a chance, and especially in the gay community. And so that's how I've always felt. And I grew up in rural Michigan. And so I try to hire ex-cons. We don't really, question them. We don't question them. We really don't. We need people so badly that at this point, we don't really question anything. But if we can get them into our community and in, our community as Christy Webber Landscapes, it just seems like they can even, this guy that works for me, John Chu, said that he has never got to touch the blower for a whole year because
Wow.
all the guys would say was basura, bolsa, meaning bag of trash. That's all you do. But he said he stuck it out because he really wanted it, to show that he could really work a job after he had just exited. He just got out of jail. So I don't know. I've always just felt like if I give back, I'm going to keep getting. I get screwed too, but I don't know. It must not be much of a screwing because I keep doing it. I keep trying to help and do the right thing. So,
well, grass keeps growing, flowers need to be planted or pruned. So it's something I think that's always going to be.
The grass always grows, man. That's the good news. Yes.
I think when people hear the word landscaping, they think about mowing their own lawn, their own grass, planting some flowers, certainly watering the flowers when it's not raining. But your company offers more than that. Can you tell us about some of the services that Christy Webber Landscaping offers?
Well, I started out just mowing the grass, absolutely for friends and not family, but mostly friends. And but then people would ask me to plant things, and I had no idea what they were or anything. So I did take some classes at the college at DePage because they had this hort program, and I got a C, which bummed me out. But I was also working, and I just wanted to understand. So then I did a little design work, and I hired a landscape architect, and that guy really. Andrew Sullivan was the kind of the boost that I needed into professionalism because he took us to the next level to be able to bid, not only like he could draw and do beautiful, landscape, they were, he was talented, and he actually went to work for Lawrence Halpern, which is one of the leading, he's now deceased, but architects in the country, if not the world. And, but anyway, he just took me to a lot of people helped me. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like I just walked up and said, well, I'm Christy Webber and I'm going to be something. I was nothing. I'm loud. I'm passionate. I'm passionate. I'm loud. If you get out of line, I really don't know what to do with you. I might just knock you down or something. I don't know. But I feel like, that drive, I guess, helps. But all the other things that come with it, like how to bank, how to borrow money, how to just deal with customers and drawings, doing landscape art. Now we have a little store.
Yeah.
We always did composting. It's not composting. We actually make mulch, but we've always taken our landscape waste, blended it with our mulch to create this really beautiful mulch, and just trying to, make use of some of the waste that we make because our trucks are all dirty and our machines run all the time and everybody hates our blowers. And so my building is also a LEED Platinum building. I just followed the mayor. I'm telling you, when Mayor Daley would say, we're going to plant trees in the median, I was like, that's my Oprah. Whatever he says, I'm doing it. So.
When did you open the garden center and how did you decide on that location? And tell the folks maybe just getting started, any kind of a business operation, just how you kind of,
well,
when you want to open up that next chapter.
This was way out of my bailiwick, this store. I like shopping, but I worked at Great Ace when I first came here in electricity. So I knew how to sell stuff, but it's been a challenge. It's been 14 years. And the reason why we got into business was John, the man that owned it, was called Grand Street Gardens. was wanting to get out, and he just was so passionate about it. And so we fell for it. And so we bought his business, and it, quickly learned like that, people don't always like everything that you think they might like. And it's been a rough go. I kind of call it the community center, to be honest with you. We're really trying to, if you have a bad spring in the retail business, anybody that's in retail struggles, I can just tell you, you just struggle. It's hard. You're like a museum. And then you might get a couple of people to buy the stuff that you've chosen to show them. And to, it's a lot of work to have any kind of store. And so we're going to chug along at it. Right now we have, I'm not going to really make this announcement, but we will be sharing the space with someone that everyone will enjoy. So there'll be something to drink out there. And so we should be good. I mean, we should have tacos, a drink, and some flowers. And then you can go over to the garden and pick some chard, whatever, kale.
And I would think like a day like today, where we've had some rain already, it's warm out, this is probably a great day. Or is it still too early? What do you tell people?
You just, for putting your annuals out or any, I know the growers. So we have a greenhouse on top of the building that was part of when we presented the building to the city. We just thought, let's just show Mayor Daley this little greenhouse on the roof. And, we thought he would ignore it, like good brownie points, right? So we ended up having to build it, of course, because he thought it was the coolest idea. But we can't really use it. It was never big enough. So the gardeners are up there now with their seedlings. So Mother's Day is always the magic day.
Yeah.
You want to, put your annuals out or bring stuff out. A lot of seedlings are still just getting their legs right now. So they won't come out for another 3 or 4 weeks. So.
And Webber Landscaping has been part of some really big projects, as I mentioned earlier in our conversation, all across the city. Share with our attendees a few recent projects, and over the span of your career, what has really been your most memorable project, either in a good way or bad way, you know what I mean? And why was it significant to you and to the company?
Well, as I mentioned, the United Center was amazing. I mean, Michael Jordan was still playing, and it was just unbelievable. It was a West Side place. I lived over in East Village at the time, and I had one truck and one other truck, but I tried to look really big and like I had a lot because I could drive them all real fast over there. So that was the big one that gave me the credit. I was credible now. Like I was credible. So Millennium Park, of course, was unbelievable, but it was unbelievable in the way that I almost went out of business. And somebody said some 38 businesses went out of business working at Millennium Park. So now when we bid on jobs, we kind of look at them and say, we don't need any more of those Millennium Parks. So, not that we don't want more parks, but we don't need that drama. I mean, then we took on Lurie Garden because that was a separate contract, and that went just south too. And these contracts are very complicated because they're union and they're change orders, and if you don't have somebody right in front of it at all time that just bird dogs it through and meticulously takes care of it, it's really at $48 an hour, if not higher, for the union wage. It's quickly jobs can go south. So the 606, I'd have to say, was one of the best, just most rewarding projects for me because I live right by the 606. We've been dragging the baby, Oliver up since a baby in the carriage, and it was glass and dog poop. That's all it was, but it was beautiful. And, and I knew Ben Helfand, and everybody would dream and talk about it, but we never really thought it would come around. So the Bloomingdale Trail is up and running, and we got to plant it, and and actually now we've just won the maintenance contract for that. So we planted it, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. But that's that's city contracting. When you have to have the lowest number. So
for those on the call that are not familiar with it, why don't you describe exactly where it is? It's a great place to bike, stroll, take a baby carriage, as you said. Tell folks the best entrance.
So it runs through, I believe, 5 different neighborhoods. It starts at Ashland at Welsh Park. So that would be Ashland. Let me give you a code, but like Cortland.
Yep.
right there where the Range Rover Lexus dealer is, if that helps you. So right there. So you can jump on it with your bike there and you can travel all the way out to, I think, farther than Campbell. All I know is YMC is the end point. And I do have a great story about this. So some guy was a taxi guy and Uber had told him, we're out there working, planting. And, so really not many people should be up on the trail, and especially not in a car. Somehow he did that little loop-de-loop up with his car and was driving down the trail. And we were like, sir, and he's like, ooh, Google Earth, take me here. Oh, they took me here. And I was like, well, you got to back it up. I mean, we ended up having to back his car up. He was so nervous he couldn't even get it out. So
Yeah, because it's very narrow. It's really meant for
oh my, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did that. So
that's a
and then
good
at
story.
the United Center one time we were I got a call that one of my mowers had flipped off an embankment and hit the top of the Bulls van. And when I came to the back of the United Center and the facilities, the facilities guy, I was so embarrassed seeing my mower on top of the Bulls van. And this is when the Bulls were winning. So, but there was a whole bunch of pimply faced boys sitting out in the shade. And I said, did you see that? You see that mower on top of the van? And they all stood up and they all unfolded like 7 feet tall. And I realized it was the Cleveland, what's their last name? Cavaliers?
Yeah, Cavaliers, right.
We got it. So a lot of fun stories with Mayor Daley, where we would clean up and walk out as he walked in on different, it was a lot of smoke and mirrors sometimes, but his motto was keep the lights on and keep them clean. And it really worked. And so I just feel like it's taxpayer money. Every mayor should do it right down the road,
Yeah,
keep them clean, keep them lit. So
how did you guys survive the pandemic? I know the pandemic took a devastating toll on so many small businesses, not only in Chicago, but really across the country, if not the world. And how did your company stay in business?
well, the PPP was amazing. Everybody's afraid to talk about it because you feel so guilty. It's just unbelievable that the government, that was amazing. And it wasn't in the year of the pandemic. It was the second year where things really got tricky. Our revenue was absolutely down, but the PPP, I can't tell you how grateful most all businesses are for that.
And did it come back naturally post, or maybe you're still climbing out of it, or has that also been a little bit of a struggle? Or do people like, oh my God?
It's been a total struggle. It's been now we're on our own, no PPP. And it has been a struggle because of staffing, because things are different, higher wages, and some of our contracts, we had one, that are 5 to 7 year contracts. So, we were just looking at some of the changes that have happened within one contract, in 5 years, how much, it was 13, then 15, that's a big, and a pick and clean contract. Your margins are super tight to be competitive with other landscapers. And so you barely, sometimes you're barely making, I know people don't believe that, but it's about volume. For me now, it's about volume. If you're going to get in the game of city work, you better have a great bank. You better have a great bank, because you're going to need that backing to be able to pay your people, pay your subs, pay yourself, and run your business as the city, learns how to pay theirs. So, it's just back of the house is pretty important. If you're going to get into government work, back of the house is super important.
And what percentage is your work not government? So you're not with,
we're too high right now. We were just talking, I couldn't tell you exactly, but it's too much. We really need
diversity.
We need to balance it out a little bit. Absolutely.
Yeah. Diverse portfolio. How do you attract new clients, and what's your marketing strategy?
Well, the biggest marketing tool is our trucks. That's people do not believe me, but our trucks now, of course, with the, web and stuff like that. But mostly, and this is going to just blow you away, but we return the phone calls. That's all you got to do. A call is a catch. I mean, I can't tell you how many people said they've called 6 landscapers and we were the only one that return a phone call. And it's pretty standard, you know, I mean, for me, and if I'm sorry if we didn't call you back, because I know 10 people on this call are going to say, she didn't call me back. So, you know, I know calling back is, and we've never gone to that voice machine because I really feel like our business, even though it is going more into the banking world, buying up small companies, but our business is pretty mom and pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the bigger ones kind of run mom and pop.
Many current and future business owners are seeking capital to start their business. How were you able to secure capital to start your business? And what were some of the financial obstacles? And what advice can you offer to our audience today that are just getting started to open their business?
Well, I mean, you can talk about this all you want, and what you're going to have is your capital and your business plan and blah, 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 but you still have to jump over the broom. And, you know, you have to take the risk. I just saved up a little money and I went over to the local guys, Russo, at 7 a.m. when I knew nobody was there. And I begged them to give me, you know, my mom helped me buy my first truck because my credit was so bad, I couldn't even be a co-signer on the truck. So, yeah, so she helped me with the first pickup truck that I had. And I asked the Russo brothers, that was the first vendor that I just said, please, can you help me and can I have a line of credit? And they are, you know, we do a lot of business with Russo. So the city works with Russo too. You know, I think they buy mowers they're one of the largest in the nation. So
How many trucks do you have today and how many employees do you have today?
We have 340. Well, you know, during winter we'll run more. I think we're 310, 315. I know we're getting ready to have a big soiree party in July and there's 650 people signed up plus one. So that's with wife, but 309 trucks now, you know, the numbers are getting all confused because I want to say 200, something like that. I don't even believe it myself.
That's a fantastic number for folks that just don't know you. In the 80s, started out with one truck. Here we are all these years later, you have 200 plus, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can barely stand up straight. I mean, it's been tough on me as I age. I realized that I probably pushed too much, you know, but I have 2 young boys that are pushing me. So
that's good. It keeps you young. Because we have such dramatic seasons, how does the business and how do you kind of fluctuate between the planting season, summer season, and then when we go into the winter and your winter season?
Well, it just seems like in the last few years, we just haven't had a spring. So we go from winter to summer. So, you know, I think we're going to start losing that change out. I think people are going to skip pansies and go right to, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's probably better for some of the, you know, larger clients to save money. But the biggest changeover is we have to plow snow with this much, you know, iron sitting in a yard and this many people that need to work that I can't lay them off. And so, and they don't want to plow snow, but a lot of people do want to plow snow, like roofers. And there's a whole bunch of odd characters out at night plowing snow. So, and that's what we do to try to offset it. It's not a moneymaker. It's not our number one thing. I mean, but at least it pays the bills and gets us started so that we don't have to, you know, we didn't do that. We would start probably $1.5 million in the hole starting like April 1st.
Okay. Yeah.
So, which isn't really much different where that we are right now. So, because we didn't have any snow.
I know, right? Not good for you. Good for us.
Yes, it was. It was good for you guys. Yes, absolutely. But, you know, unlike we salt the heck out of everything, you know, because it's a salting business too. So
let's just change the topic a little bit and just talk a little bit about the local chambers and how you kind of network. You know, BAC partners with a lot of our local business service organizations, such as our chambers of commerce, to assist small business owners. Have you or are you currently working with the chamber, and have you found their assistance beneficial to your business? And share some of those thoughts with our viewers.
Wicker Park, of course, you know, I mean, that's where I live. So, and for years I've lived over here in East Village, Wicker Park. So, and we work with a lot of the SSAs, you know, if we'll do some of the work in Kara, you'll see Kara out, they'll do some of the work. So we split up some of the work with the non-for-profit. And, you know, I've never, you know, the Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Commerce. I've been to a couple of their meetings, but you know, the chambers are mostly for me, like an opportunity to bid the work, you know, because they put the bid out, you know, out to bid. So for all because of the SSAs. But I do believe this, and I really try to tell my staff this: shop local. And I don't mean like go over to like, you know, Kohl's over here on Elston. I mean shop local. And if you can't just shop local, like I meet people and try to understand how important they are. So I've developed great relationships with people at Best Buy that have been there 12 years.
Yeah.
Not everybody at Best Buy is just some kid, you know, that's like rocking it out. It's, you know, some people have careers at Best Buy. And so I just try to, you know, respect them as I would want to be respected. And so I in shopping local, I love boutiques. I love my neighborhood. I won't even I won't even go out to eat anywhere but in my neighborhood. I'm really a snob about that.
That's good. We like
Yeah,
shopping local.
crazy like that.
You probably can't see it.
Oh yeah, you bet.
That's my theme.
Absolutely.
I got on shirts. I have it on a whole bunch of stuff. So thank you again for sharing your insight.
Transit T does that, don't they? I mean, Transit T,
Yes,
because
they do. Absolutely.
local, right over here.
Yep. Let's just mix it up a little bit. When you're not running your business, what do you do to relax? I think that's always important for someone that's carrying, 300 some trucks, all those employees. Like, how do you just kind of have time for yourself? Also, when you're not chasing your boys.
I do love, I love to landscape. So I will do some of my friends' homes and things on the weekends. I have now a house in Michigan. Yeah, I call it the dump, but it's over in Union Pier, and that's a lot of work, but it's really like it's some land. I live in Wicker Park, so the lots are small. I have motorcycles. I like to weld. I love, I love working with wood and making cutting boards and, I don't know. I'm a night owl. So snow will do that to you. They'll make you a night owl. So I can get a lot done when nobody's around.
That's amazing. As this webinar is entitled Empower Hour, please share a piece of advice that you can empower our attendees.
Hire people smarter than you.
Oh,
don't
nice.
Intimidated, trust them. You're going to have to trust them, believe me. Yeah. But, and you're still shit's going to happen. But, hire somebody smarter than you and understand what their strength is and your strength. So, I feel like that way you don't have to have partners either. You just hire them. So I've had the partner thing. I don't suggest doing that, but some people can't. And then borrow money. I did not know this. I almost went belly up when I first started because the banker had a pre-penalty clause on my truck and I paid it off. And I just said, screw it. And I paid the banker. I didn't want, I don't need your money. And then like 3 weeks later, I was begging for the money back because I didn't understand that part of business, I might have to look down the road here. So you remember the 80s, if I had $100 in my pocket, I thought I was rich. Right. So
that's great. That is great. Can you stay just a little bit longer? Let's take some questions from our audience. Stella, how you doing?
Hey, we do have some questions.
Right.
Chrissy, you are my hero. Can you please talk about your incredible commitment to the community development on the West Side?
I just have the opportunity to change lives with gardening. And but what I'm trying to do is make it so they make money, because that's the problem. You can grow the food, but just can't seem to, people got to make a living at it. I'm just passionate about just giving people a chance. And I feel like Mother Earth heals a lot of people, believe me, but we still need to figure out how to make money if we're going to have all these gardening programs. Is that good or no?
Question.
That's right. Yeah.
And how are you leveraging your work and influence not only for employment, but for the support within these devastated neighborhoods?
So what do you mean by this? Like,
I'm not sure. Maybe she will post something else. Let's go to another question. Someone is typing.
I love the West Side too, by the way. I just, when my family comes out, I don't care. I show them the West Side. There's a lot of beautiful architecture out there. It's just cool. I just like it out there. And I feel super comfortable there, where I don't feel so comfortable over in, like on Michigan Avenue or something like that. It's not my place to hang out. I like shopping though, but for tennis
We got
shoes.
some questions. We have some questions now. They're coming in. When and how have you decided to invest in systems for your bookkeeping and HR?
HR took a long time coming because, you think you can handle everything. So that took a while to realize I needed that. Probably it was because we realized this one gal was hiding. I think, well, all I know is that she wasn't responding to workman comp or to unemployment. So we were like at the highest rate of everything, because she was just a paper pusher. And then the bookkeeping would be right out of the gate. I'm a gym teacher. Are you kidding me? Somebody had to be able to do math. That wasn't my skill. I knew how to count money. My dad had a bar, so he knew how to count the money. So I knew how to count money, but doing math, and I do know how to do, square footages and stuff like that, but never really understood business. I wish I would have taken some classes while I was in college, but I was busy playing basketball.
This is a two-part question. Did you create a business plan? And why was it important for you to get certified?
Well, I didn't even know about the cert. I did not have a business plan. I did have like one Chicago, what's the business school for Chicago, University of Chicago? Well, they came out and, did like, took a bunch of, asked questions, looked at our finances. And, we've had several like things that people that come out and, look at but there was no business plan, not at all. I didn't plan on buying in this little garden center and then moving it again. And I never planned, I would have never imagined that I would, and many things in my life, believe me. And we weren't like, we lived on a dirt road, but we weren't poor. We were just, working class, General Motors kids. And I mean, I went to college, but not many other people in my family. My sister did, and that was about it. So a couple of my cousins. So no business plan. And what was the bookkeeping part, or was that?
No, the second part was, why was it important for you to become certified?
Oh, I didn't even know, but there was a company kind of stuck up down here at Republic Window. They had gotten a TIF, and this landscaper needed a W to be able to win this contract. And so we rushed it all through, worked with somebody, and I got it all through. And that made them, they had to hire me. I thought it was outstanding, so if they had this contract, I would get 5%. But I realized quite quickly that you could get really stuck in that. So I still just mowed my yards, like I still had my residential stuff, and we still did residential design build. We really tried to keep it diverse so that we didn't just get like, like people come to me sometimes like, where's my work? And I'm like, well, when I get work, you'll get work. But, I don't have that work for you right now. You're going to have to go get your own work. So, I just think like it has been very important. I actually graduated out. It was tough to get the commercial construction work, the union work. It was, you realize just what an opening level work that we do, and that we need a lot more representation by the unions to be more, to be respected in the construction trades, because as soon as I graduated out, it was like, next, and I knew a lot of these cats that, these GCs for years, but they really needed that WBE. And I couldn't provide it for them. And because it's an entry level kind of business, another person would come on board. And, I listened. I really, to be honest with you, I just listened. And I mean, just, I try to get everybody to get certified, to be honest. I want more African Americans to get certified. I don't care what it is, but, the time is now to really take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. And, don't be afraid and just jump right on in it. But get a good bank behind you because you'll go broke otherwise. So get a good bank.
That's great.
It's time is now. Time is now. We have high percentages of African American. I mean, it's but they really want Black folks on our jobs. You know, one of the aldermen called me up and said, it's not Jose Benito Avenue, it's Martin Luther King, Christy. And I'm like, I know, but you know, time is now. Let's work together and let's move forward, move up. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's great. Stella, any other questions?
Just one more. How do you balance the not always fun business operations while staying involved with the parts of the business you love?
Yeah, really. Everybody has this problem because I do that little Christy Webber side jobs on the weekends because I get to plant and do my friend's house, and you know, they come home and they're like, wow, or you know, that helped. You know, I woke up one day and I didn't even realize what color my youngest son's eyes were, and I realized I said to my wife, I've really got to slow down. This is ridiculous. I just had worked so hard, you know, especially after having kids. You know, you think you got to provide for them, and it's got to be the best. And they don't really care. They just want you around.
Yeah.
And that's even if you're just watching TV.
Stella, I think we got one more coming. One more question I see popping up.
No, that's it.
Okay. Let's give you a little.
I hope I didn't say any too much.
No, you're great. Well, listen, let's take an opportunity. Let's let folks know where they can find the Christy Webber Garden Center. So if people want to get some flowers over the weekend.
It's Chicago and Grand Avenue where they come together out there on the west side, right before Humboldt Park. There's a taco stand on the corner, Continental Bar, a 4 a.m. aim bar. It's just past California. Just past California going west.
2833 West Chicago. You want to put it into your phone.
Yeah, sorry. If you had a dog, I'd know your dog's name, but not your address. So.
And how do people find you either on social media or website? What's your website?
www.christywebber.com. I do Facebook, yes, but just depends on if I owe a customer a call back. I feel guilty that I'm not calling them back, but I'm on Facebook. Blah 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 blah.
Well, since you like calls, what's the main number to your offices?
773-533-0477. How about that? Because I only know my cell, but all our cells are on the website.
Folks can watch us on our YouTube channel by visiting youtube.com/Chicago BACP.
Cool.
For more information on our next Empower Hour in May 18th, I believe, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Christy, thank you again. Have a great day.